So today I want to share with you my cupcake recipe. It's for vanilla cupcakes. It is a proven recipe that I have been using for a very long time now, because if you're anything like me, you've tried a variety of different recipes and a lot of them just don't deliver the way they say they're going to. So I want to give you my recipe that I know will give you the confidence to make perfect cupcakes every time. By the end of this video, you're going to have my recipe, you're going to have tips that are going to help you to improve the way that you structure your baking process, and hopefully at the end of it, you're going to have the confidence to just go away and make brilliant, amazing vanilla cupcakes whenever you want. So what sets this recipe out from others, I believe, is honey. The reason that I use it in this one, and I've tried a few different things, but nothing seems to amplify that vanilla flavor quite the way that honey does. Now, I am really, really lucky. My husband keeps bees in the backyard, so we get honey from our own hive, which is just so delightful. But that is what really, really sets this whole recipe out from others. So to start the baking process, we're going to pop all of our dry ingredients in together apart from the sugar. We're going to keep that aside until a little bit later. This is going to make sure that everything's distributed well, that we're not going to have any little pockets of flour that are going to pop out throughout our mixture. So let's get that done now. We have 2.5 cups of plain flour and 1/2 cup of cornstarch. Now the reason that I'm mixing these two together is forming what is referred to as cake flour. And effectively, it literally is just plain flour and corn flour. Next, we're going to add our baking powder, our baking soda, and some salt. Now, I'll put all of the measurements in the description below for you, so just go and check that out afterwards. Just give that a little bit of a whisk through to make sure that everything's combined really nicely. Okay, moving on to the wet ingredients. So at this stage, we're going to take our 170 grams of butter. We're going to mix it in the mixer until it's nice and smooth, and then we'll start adding our sugar. There we go. Okay, so it's nice and smooth around the edges now. I'm going to add it in batches, not all at once, otherwise you'll just end up clumps. Add it a little bit at a time, it'll mix through really nicely. The goal here is that we're going to spend about 3 to 5 minutes here mixing this through until it's completely dissolved. It'll change to a really nice light creamy color instead of that deep yellow that you have originally from the butter. Okay, we've been mixing for a few minutes now. Sugar and butter is really well combined. Look how light and fluffy that is. And that's what we're looking for. So the sugar is a really critical part in the cupcake process. The sugar will help the whole mix rise. It adds to caramelization. It adds to moisture retention. So skipping this element here where we combine the butter and sugar can be where a lot of cupcake recipes fail. So this is really important. So for this next bit, we're going to start adding our eggs one by one on a low setting just to get them combined first. Turn it up a little bit just to make sure they mix through. And we're going to do that for all 4 eggs. Okay, now we're going to start to add our flour mixture and our buttermilk. So we're going to start with dry ingredients and end with dry ingredients. Okay, at this stage we're about halfway through, so it's at this point. Then I'm going to add the oil. Pop it on low, let it mix. Add our vanilla essence. And our beautiful honey. Now I'm just going to keep alternating the flour and the buttermilk through until it's all mixed. I think we're done. Let's have a look. Oh, goodness. Yeah, we're definitely done. A lovely mix. Alright. Look how beautiful and creamy that is. So now it's time for us to get this into some cupcake cases. Okay, so we're now ready to get from the bowl to the pan to the oven. The biggest tip I can give you is the ice cream scoop. The reason I say this is, one, nicely hooped scoop is the perfect amount for your cupcake. So, and this will give you just enough to get that beautiful rise dome look without overfilling, and takes the guesswork out of making sure that they all look really uniformed. Now, because of the way we made this mix, it is so light, it is so fluffy that we're going to need to give it 3 or 4 minutes before we pop them in the oven, just so that this mix sets, and then you'll be able to really clearly see visually whether you have one that is a little bit lower than the other. Pop them straight in the oven. Okay, so we're at the 15-minute mark. We're going to go and check on the cupcakes. Oh, perfect. Now, depending on how you want to ice your cupcakes will depend on whether you want a really flat top or whether you want it to be quite raised. Now, I want mine to be raised because I want to do some decorative roses on top of them. However, if you wanted them to be flat, you would turn them upside down right now. It would flatten them out and you would have an amazing flat top. All right, now that they're out, let's have a look at one while they're nice and hot. Oh, look at how fluffy that is. That's fluffy, that's moist. Look how spongy it is. So that shows you that you are going to have a cupcake that's going to cool down and have a lot of moisture. It's going to be really fluffy, it's going to be bouncy, it's going to be delicious. So we'll check back in 5 minutes. Okay, we've had another few minutes go by, so let's take one out of the case. So beautiful, beautiful clean removal, which is what you want. You don't want half your cupcake being stuck to the patty case. Oh, look at that. So fluffy. It's delicious. We are missing one thing though, and that is an amazing buttercream frosting to finish all of these off with. So why don't you come over here with me? Let's go make one together.